50% of sexual assaults on campus happen during what's called the red zone, which is the first 6 weeks of school.
And Sienna Katadia is among a group of student leaders from across the country who've put forward a 10-pronged call to action, not only to address on-campus sexual violence, but to prevent it.
Earlier on this summer, student leaders from more than 20 different universities, colleges, and various national organizations representing over 1.2 million students gathered together to have a roundtable discussion on what we believe are the most important next steps for our different levels of government and for post-secondary institutions.
Among them, implementing sustainable, well-funded campus-wide education plans, applying trauma-informed practices, procedural fairness, and harm reduction principles to all sexual violence complaint processes, and ensuring that addressing campus sexual violence is prioritized in the National Action Plan.
I think what happened at Western last year illuminates the urgency with which we need our post-secondary institutions, provincial and territorial governments, and the federal government to step up and implement student recommendations. Ultimately, the issue of sexual and gender-based violence on post-secondary campuses is far bigger than Western. This is a national epidemic.
Multiple allegations of sexual assault surfaced at the start of the 2021-2022 school year at Western University. One of the report's lead authors, Chloe Kameni's background includes working in sexual violence prevention at the university and community level.
It's important to remember, especially Black and Indigenous and queer and trans survivors. A lot of times they are ignored within the stories of sexual violence. There is a very kind of white cisgendered picture that is framed on campus and even off campus about who a survivor traditionally is. But that's not the case.
Their urgent message to Canadian policymakers:
people's lives are on the line here. This violence impacts people deeply, profoundly. And so to not utilize their power and privilege responsibly in order to make the changes that are needed to keep students safe is unacceptable.
Shallima Maharaj, Global News.